Okay, before we get started on the video, throughout this video, I kind of talk about the different constellations on the characters coming out on the new banner, the weapons on the new banner, and if I think they're good or not or worth pulling on. But we never really come to a conclusion if I think it's worth pulling on. And this guy's making it really hard to say anything is worth pulling on right now. If you need a good Hydro DPS, if you need a good Pyro DPS, summon for Child, summon for Hu Tao. I think it's as simple as that. Obviously, if you're going for constellations, make sure the 4 stars on the banner are something that you need or you're excited about, because you're going to get a fair amount of them if you're going for constellations. But in general, man, this is looking like a hard skip for like 6 weeks for me. Unless Hu Tao comes out alongside Staff of Halma, bro, I'm saving up for Arataki Itto, bro. This guy looks so sick. So miHoYo, I want to thank you for releasing this image and giving me the sole reason that I will be resisting to wish for the next 6 weeks. Man, I make that sound way easier than it's going to be. I just wanted to touch on this real quick before we actually get into the video because, dude, this character looks so sick. Keep in mind, we know how good Child and Hu Tao are. We don't know how good Itto's gonna be. Itto could be busted or Itto could be butts. We'll just have to wait and see. But for those that are thinking about wishing on the Child banner or the new upcoming Polar Star banner, we do got some information for you in this video, so I hope you guys enjoy. Oh God. So Genshin did that thing again where they make a really cool weapon and they release it along a meh weapon. The first half of the 2.2 banners just got released. Let's start off talking about the character banner. Tartaglia's banner, the Farewell to Snezhnaya banner, is coming along with Yanfei, Ningguang, and Chongyun, which apparently is the same lineup that Ayaka had, so interesting. So I'm going to start off talking about the character that I have the most experience with, which is going to be Ningguang. Now, Ningguang's a character that I've had built for quite a while. She actually does crazy damage, and I don't even have her fully leveled up. The way I run her typically is going to be on the Dodoko Tails or the Solar Pearl with the 2-piece Archaic, 2-piece Gladiator. She does have other sets that are decent on her, but this is just how I run her. I do have her at Constellation 6, and honestly, I feel like her constellations bring her a lot of value. Her Constellation 6 brings so much damage to the table that it's shocking. She is a really solid character. I do highly recommend, if you do end up getting her, you can build her and she'll do a lot of damage, but she is a very weird character to play. Like, she's not like any other character. I feel like before Yanfei, this was like the only character that played like this, and it was just kind of awkward, but her damage definitely makes up for her clunkiness. And I mean, bro, come on, like, she's a waifu. I would say her most important constellations are definitely C1, C2 are both decent, and C6 is really when her damage starts to ramp up. When you're prioritizing leveling her skills, I would probably prioritize normal attack first, her elemental burst, then her elemental skill. Next up, we have Chongyun, which Chongyun is a character that I've wanted to build for a long time, and he's kind of the polar opposite of Ningguang, where I don't think he needs many constellations to be effective. So Chongyun has a lot of different ways that you can run him. I've been running him on a sacrificial sword. Keep in mind, mine's level 50, so when I say running him, he's not actually doing anything. I'm just using him in the open world because he's fun. None of his talents are leveled up, none of his artifacts are leveled up, nothing. But he's a character that I've wanted to build for a long time. One of my favorite parts about him is that his elemental burst Spirit Blade actually has a 40 energy cost, and it does a decent amount of damage. I see a lot of big numbers on Chongyun bursts for it being a 40 cost burst, but I would say the main part of his kit is going to be his elemental skill, where he lays down a field where everyone's normal attacks inside of it, if you're a sword character, claymore character, or polearm character, turns into cryo attacks, which can come in handy. His constellations are pretty decent. I have C1, which is pretty cool. Basically just adds a little bit of cryo damage to your normal attacks. His C2 is kind of busted, honestly. So if there's any elemental burst cast within your like elemental skill field, it has its cooldown time reduced by 15%, which is dope because you can just speed up your rotations. His C4 just regenerates some energy, and then C6 is going to be just more damage in general. I personally run every single character in the game like a sub DPS, so I'm building him with Noblesse Oblige and Blizzard Strayer. But I do think a 4-piece Blizzard on this character could be really good. So for Chongyun's skills, me personally, I'm probably going to be focusing on leveling up his burst first, because that's what I want to use the most. Then leveling up his elemental skill, then leveling up his normal attacks. Keep in mind, I don't think you really need like super high normal attacks. I'll probably get his normal attacks to like 6 and then stop. But I definitely want his burst to do like big damage, because that seems like fun. Where the heck is... Oh, Yanfei, here we go. Last up, we have Yanfei, which I'm going to be honest, I ranked her super low on my tier list video, but I do genuinely believe every single character in the game can be built to be good. So you could definitely run her on similar weapons that you would run Ningguang. So you could run something like Solar Pearl, Dodoko Tails, Space Donut, just kidding, I'm just malding. Artifact sets, I guess you could run something along the lines of like a Crimson Witch of Flames. I'm honestly not too sure how I would build her artifacts wise. I would probably refer to another video if you're looking at building a Yanfei. But one thing I do know about is her constellations, because I have C5. So this is a character that does absolutely get better with constellations. So with her C1, she does get a little bit less stamina cost for her charge attack, and she's a little bit more resistant to interruption. C2 actually raises her crit rate by 20% on enemies that are 50% HP or lower, which is pretty good. I think her C4 is like a really interesting constellation. I didn't think this character was going to have a shield built in, but she does. So when you activate Done Deal, which is her elemental burst, it creates a shield that absorbs up to 45% of Yanfei's max HP. And of course, it absorbs pyro more effectively. Pretty solid, pretty good, nice thing to like toss in near the end of like a constellation. And her C6 increases the maximum number of Scarlet Seals by 1. Scarlet Seals act like Ningguang's little floating rocks around her, where it basically just the more you have, the more damage you do. In general, she's going to be very similar to Ningguang, where you're going to want to level up her normal attack. And between these two, I'm not 100% sure what you should prioritize. Like I said, I would refer to another video of Yanfei. Look for like a build guide on just her itself. But most likely you're going to want to build her very similar to Ningguang, because she's literally just Pyro Ningguang. Finally, we got my boy Tartaglia, which I just did a huge video on, which was a lot of work. So if you do have a moment to hear about our Lord and Savior Tartaglia, please go click the video up above. Greatly appreciate it. If there's no video there, go look at my last video, because I often forget to put those little tags or cards or whatever. But anyway, Tartaglia is a super dope character. Bow user, hydro character, switches to like a melee stance, has like melee hydro sword damage that he does. It's super dope. As far as talents go, I definitely recommend prioritizing his elemental skill, then his elemental burst, then his normal attack. Again, normal attack not needing to go over like level 6, maybe 7, because it just doesn't bring that much value. For him, I recommend building a 4-piece Heart of Depth. I know there have been talk of running him on like a Shimenawa set, and you can get some pretty good damage out of him without 4-piece Heart of Depth, but 4-piece Heart of Depth is absolutely his best build, period. When we're talking about constellations for Tartaglia, I think his C1 is like decent value for it being a pretty low constellation. It reduces his melee stance change by 20%, which is great. The C2 is just energy regeneration. C3 is probably going to be the most important one, I think, where it's going to bring the most value, where it just bumps up his elemental skill even more, which is where a lot of his damage is going to come from. C4 makes it so that you have an AoE Riptide damage that happens whenever you have like an opponent affected by Riptide, which if you want a more in-depth explanation of this, like I said, go check out the video that we just did. But all in all, C4, solid. C5 levels up his Havoc Obliteration by 3, and then C6 basically makes it so that you can stay in his melee stance forever. If you're in his melee stance and you use his ult, you can literally get your melee stance reset when you switch back to your range stance, and then just keep the cycle going. It's so sick. All in all, his constellations are really good. I don't think you need constellations for this character to be good. A lot of people say, oh, you need C1 or you need C6 for him to be good. Not the case. I have this character friendship level 10. I got him on the first banner that he was available, and he's been a mainstay in my teams for Spiral Abyss ever since. I love this character, and I highly recommend if you need a good Hydro DPS, he is it. I should mention he does have some downsides because we did talk about it in the video. His biggest downside is going to be the cooldown of his elemental skill. You can kind of like small brain his elemental skill and stay in it for too long and cause it to have up to a 45-second cooldown. If you stay in his elemental skill the entire time, you're not going to have fun with Tartaglia. I recommend switching over to him, staying in his elemental skill for about 15 seconds, and then swapping off of Tartaglia and kind of continuing the rotation. But we do go over how to do that in the video, so again, you should check out the video. The video is not doing great if you can't tell. I'm really trying to get you to go watch this video. I put a lot of work into it. So yeah, overall, I think this banner is decent. I do think Ningguang and Yanfei need a lot of constellations for them to be like really effective. Like I didn't want to build Ningguang until I got C6 because I got C6 and she was like one of my first C6 characters. I was like, well, I feel like I need to build her. She was really, really good. If you like Ningguang already and you've already got her built, her constellations will just make her better. Like light years better. Like I said, same thing kind of goes for Yanfei, where I think she's going to get a lot better with constellations. Chongyun's probably the only character on this banner besides Tartaglia that doesn't need constellations to be effective. His cryo field that he lays down and his burst is enough for me to put him on a team. I'm happy to build him. I just need resources. Next, let's talk about the weapon banner, because this one makes me like really sad actually. So we got Polar Star alongside Memory of Dust. Yeah, they did it again. Release a super dope weapon alongside a catalyst that no one gives a fuck about. So Memory of Dust is arguably one of the best weapons for like Ningguang. I think that's it. Is there any other character? I mean, I guess Yanfei would probably like it. I don't know. The thing is, you basically have to have a shield on your character the whole time for it to be effective. But Memory of Dust in general is pretty poop. Like I would rather use a Solar Pearl. And I think it is absolutely a trap being put on there next to Polar Star. I think Polar Star is going to be really good. Do I think it's Jade Cutter level good? Probably not, but it could be. But yeah, Polar Star in general, I personally wouldn't recommend wishing on this. I mean, if you're free to play, don't even bother. Weapon banner's a scam. If you're like a lower spender or like a budget player, maybe, but only if you need some of these 4 stars. Like this new Claymore looked really cool. Favonius Lance is a great weapon. Favonius Swords is a decent weapon. I think the fact that Sacrificial Sword exists means Favonius kind of gets a bad rap, but Favonius isn't bad. I like using Favonius just for energy generation. Sometimes I'll run it on Bennett if I need something like that. You also have Rust, which is one of the best weapons for Child. It's really good for Yoimiya. Can be good for like a physical damage official. All in all, just a decent weapon. Oh yeah, and then we have Eye of Poop. It's poop. But yeah, in general, I don't think the weapon banner is like breaking any records. I think they're doing this thing now where they release 2 limited weapons and they bait us into pull for the new hot one. And it makes me really sad. I'm really hoping that they don't release another weapon, like another new weapon alongside Hu Tao. I'm hoping they come out with Staff of Homa again, and I'm hoping they don't release it alongside with some limited catalyst. If we could see another Staff of Homa Wolf's Gravestone banner, I'd be a happy boy, and they would have all my money. But maybe that's just wishful thinking. I don't know. And before we go, last thing I wanted to touch on was the Genshin Impact community as a whole discovered what a man looks like. Bro, they announced this character right when we're talking about 2 reruns that are coming out. Like, of course nobody wants to wish now. Look at him. I mean, bro, like, I'm just saying, this character's dope. So I'm assuming he's going to be like a Geo Claymore user. So anyone who's built up a Noelle, congratulations. You can now transfer that set to a character that's dope. But yeah, the fact that he's holding like a giant Geo club looks sick. I think his art in general is dope. Like just the way like they made his face look. I think this character is going to look sick in game, and I cannot wait to see how he looks actually in game. Apparently he like lost the battle to Sara, like Kuja Sara. So he like battles her whenever he gets the chance, and she just keeps kicking his ass. I mean, I don't blame him. I'd go get my ass kicked by Kuja Sara once a week if I could. But in general, I think he's a really cool character. I'm super excited to see what comes out about him. I would love to see, these are my predictions for his elemental burst. I would love to see him like slam down his club. Like he uses a Claymore, sure, and then he manifests like a club and then just does like a massive swing and slams the ground. And it's like Ajdaha's like field, where all of a sudden there's a massive field of just AoE damage that just slowly happens. Like it's just like pulsing, like an earthquake or something. I think that'd be really cool. So I would love to see them do something different with this character. Maybe even have that be his elemental skill. I don't know. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with him though. I think he looks really dope. His art looks sick. I keep telling myself I have no intention of wishing on new characters because I already know what characters I want. And then they keep releasing stuff like this. Oh, they also released another thing about Goro. So yeah, Goro's coming. Literally when I saw this, I instantly was like, Daddy, sorry, Daddy, sorry, Daddy, sorry. Like, dude, this character looks so dope, bro. I'm super excited to see his kit. Again, I do want to emphasize, please don't leak anything in the comments. If you know anything, just keep it to yourself. We're going to do some speculation down in the comment section though and talk about Itto, Arataki Itto. I think he's going to be super dope, so I'm super excited for him. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. What do you think his kit's going to look like? Is he going to be a 4-star? I think he's going to be a 5-star. That's a 5-star design, bro. But regardless, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please drop a like down below. Subscribe if you're new around here. And before we head out, a huge shout out to the members of the channel. Thank you so much for helping make these videos possible. Regardless, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one. Bro, some of these comments are so funny. Like, I don't even play Genshin, but I want him.